What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Shooting the Shit Uncensored. I'm your host, the dad bod god, the bald, the beard, and the fucking beautiful Piers Austin. And tonight I am joined by one of my good friends, fellow Aussie wrestling podcaster. He's interviewed some amazing names in the world of professional wrestling. He's a content creator and one of the guys who works extremely hard to put on an amazing podcast. You definitely need to go and check it out. The Insider's Edge. Honestly, I go back and I listen to California's podcast. I don't listen to a lot of other wrestling podcasters, but I do listen to the Insider's Edge every single episode. It's one of those shows I don't miss, and you guys need to go and check it out. But while you're also checking things out, guys, you need to go and check out some of our amazing sponsors like Sleefs.com. That's SLEEFS, Sleefs.com. They are your one-stop shop for all of your athletic wear and needs. They've got armbands, compression pants, compression shorts, compression socks, headbands, boots, mouth guards, and they've even got those fucking dirty boxes that you always hear me raving about. Guys, seriously, I don't wear any other boxes but these dirty boxes. I'm an active guy. I work full time. I podcast a lot. I go to the gym. I've got 3 kids. I'm always on the go. These boxes stay dry. They stay fresh. And they've got funky designs on the front. So when the belt buckle comes undone at the end of the day, Mrs. Austin's laughing on what's in front of the boxes, not what's inside them. Hey, a bit of a dick joke. All right, that's enough. But guys, make sure you go and check out Sleeps.com. Use that promo code MWAPOD to get a 10% discount on your final purchase. Also, ladies and gentlemen, make sure you go and check out healthvape.com. Healthvape.com is your healthy vaping alternative. All of their products are no nicotine, no addictive or harmful chemicals. They help restore the energy while giving you the vital boost you need to get through your day. And they're vitamin infused. From what I've been told by Alan Funk, he said it's like vaping a fucking Red Bull. Those were his exact words. But you can go and check out healthvape.com. Check out all of their vape and pod products. Use that promo code MWAPOD to get a 10% discount on your final purchase, baby. Yeah. Guys, wherever you are finding the Shooting the Shit Uncensored podcast on the Piers Austin channel, on YouTube and all your podcast platforms, or on Twitch, the Piers Austin, please like, share, subscribe. And if you're listening on a podcast platform, please give me a 5-star review. I'd appreciate it. It does a lot. Helps us bring out more and more content and reach a larger audience, which is what we all want at the end of the day. So please, does a lot. I appreciate it. But guys, let's get into my conversation with the motherfucking California Inferi. What is going on, brother?
What the fuck is up, bro? Great to be here with you on your show, Shooting the Motherfucking Shit Uncensored.
Hell yeah, bro. Hell yeah, man. This is a treat for me, bro. Because I wanted to have you on for such a long time, man. And you know what it's like, bro, with life and schedules and all that sort of shit, man. So I'm glad to actually finally have you on and on an episode so we can fucking talk some shit and talk a bit of wrestling and how and your journey in the world of wrestling podcasting, uh, which to me, like I first discovered you when you interviewed Angel, who at the time, me and Angel had just started wrestling with Tragedy, and I saw your interview with him, and I always, when I look at shoot interviews, I always dread them because it always feels so like stiff. And it's very like question, question, question. And the interviewer never really pays attention to the answer. And when I checked out your interview, it was completely the opposite to what that is, right? And that's what I try and be. You know what I mean? I try and be conversational. Like you get your questions out, but you do it in such a way where it just flows in part of the conversation. Is that something you found came naturally to you when you started, or was that like something that you really had to work on?
I'll tell you what, I used to get really pissed off before I had a podcast. I used to get really pissed off listening or watching to other podcasts out there. And, maybe someone will be interviewing somebody that I like and they're talking about the subject that I'm interested in. And I haven't learned everything that I really want to learn about a particular subject. And it gets to a particular point when they're talking about that particular subject where I'm like, great, bro, branch off and ask this. Because that's just like the natural thought in my mind is like, this is definitely the next question that they've got to ask. But they've got their little line of questioning and they have to go to their next question. They're not even thinking about where they can branch off here or there. So I was always thinking about that when listening or watching a podcast or like just a shoot interview with like RF video or whatever. I'd find that stuff to be frustrating. So that's something that I implemented when I would start doing it myself. So yes, that was it was I guess the plan before I finally started doing this shit is that
Yeah. But that's the thing, dude. Like when I started, I would write out like a list of fucking questions, right? And it's like it would be like the same fucking shit, like almost every single fucking person. You know what I mean? Like there'd be different questions in there, like throughout someone's career and experience, like companies and wherever the fuck they worked, right? But it was all generic shit. And I'd have like 20 to 30 questions, and then in 10 minutes, I'm done. And I was like, you know what? Like after I asked them and then I just started having conversations with people, I'm just like, this is just more relaxing. So I don't know about you. Do you sit down and prep before your show? Like, do you write shit down? Like for me, I don't sit down and write any questions down. Like I try and have the most organic conversation as possible. How do you do that? Do you have a plan of attack when you are doing an interview? And I don't mean attack, but I mean, do you have a strategy when you go into doing each podcast?
Yeah, first of all, props to you that you're able to do it that way because I know I wouldn't achieve what I feel I need to achieve by going into an interview like that because I know I'm gonna forget something important that I wanted to ask, so I have to write everything down. So generally, when I first started doing it, I wrote 50 questions. And a lot of the interviews did go, 2.5, 3 hours. And as time wore on, I realized I couldn't take up that much of people's time. So I condensed it. And now usually I write 25 questions and I will also have extra questions written in case someone's answering the questions quicker than I anticipated. So I can usually I'm doing an hour long and maybe an hour and a half. And if I can see that, wow, we're 25 minutes into this and I've already asked 15 questions, it helps that I've got those extra ones there. But also, as I'm listening to them talk, I'm thinking about branching off here and there. So yes, I got a plan of attack, but also as the interview is wearing on, I'm amending things going forward. Maybe it's somebody who's talking too much and talking too long. Like I had Eric Watts on the show, fantastic guy, but I asked him the first question and 40 minutes later he finished the answer. So I was like, holy shit, like I'm going to have to omit a few things here. And we ended up having to do 2 sessions, and I think it went nearly 5.5 hours in total.
Wow.
But
It's interesting though, man, because like sometimes like, you know, like you have those people that like, I love when people love to go in depth in their answers and stuff. Like I fucking love that shit. Because it's like, but the thing is, like I've seen with you, when people do that, when you're interviewing them, you're listening along the way, and then you'll go back and go, you know, you said this earlier, like, and then you'll dig that little bit deeper, and that's one thing I try and do as well, and that's probably why I really dig your style, bro. Like, to be honest, because it's a style that I enjoy, kind of like that Colt Cabana, like Stone Cold Steve Austin kind of vibe conversation. You know what I mean? Like if you listen to those podcasts, or even like a Jericho in some way, that's how their podcasts are. It's not always going to be the fucking marky questions that like every wrestling mark wants to, like the person's answered a million times on a million different shoots. You know what I mean? Like there's going to be something different, and that's I think like one of the most important things is being able to have something different, because you get a better interview from your guest as well, because like then you're talking about stuff that they enjoy or that they've never talked about before.
Yeah, like I always, if in the answer to a particular question there's a little thing that they mentioned, I'll quickly just write a note of a key word, then go back to it. But like, you know, I can give like a good example of like getting a story out of something that I wasn't expecting when I asked about it. Interviewed Tony DeVito, who was also in The Baldies.
Yeah, he's a great dude. I know Tony.
Yeah, I thought he was fantastic. Anyway, like he mentioned the big cigar that he used to come out with, and I just asked him like, what was the idea behind that? And we got a story out of that. I wasn't sure if there was going to be a story. But we got a story out of it, and it was something that Axel Rotten had suggested to him, and that's information that I didn't previously know. I love learning something that I didn't know previously, dude. I love that. It's my favorite thing because very often, you know, I feel like, geez, a lot of people get interviewed, and it's just the same questions with the same answers. So that's
bro, like it does get like that, man. But as far as pro wrestling goes, man, because like you are a fucking insane wrestling fan, dude, and you're almost like a wrestling encyclopedia, bro. Like when did you actually start like noticing wrestling? Like when did you get bitten by the bug?
So I was thinking of this the other day because I thought this might be something we might talk about. And it was like, I would say 1997 was when I first was aware of it because of my friends going on about it all the time. But I never really had the chance to watch it unless there was a sleepover or a birthday party. Someone's always throwing on a tape of Nitro or one of the old pay-per-views. I might watch a little bit of it, you know, be like, oh yeah, that's cool, but probably keep my mouth shut because I don't really know anything. And, you know, but I guess the bug that when it really bit me was Survivor Series 1998. It aired on free to air television on Channel 10 on a random Saturday night. Wow. And I was at my dad's house by myself. I think he had gone out for the evening. I was 12. And I watched this thing from start to finish. And I still think it's one of the best wrestling pay-per-views of all time. I went into it only knowing a little bit about certain people like Stone Cold or The Rock, but by the end of it, I knew who each character was. I knew what they were all about. I knew that Dwayne Gill was the worst and he never won. I knew that he was the worst. I knew that Mankind was going to be the corporate. He was screwed over. I knew that Undertaker and Kane were brothers, but they were having a problem with one another at that stage. I found all these stories in one pay-per-view. I was fucking hooked, man. And from then on, my fandom is just Raw every fucking week. I would watch that thing when I knew it was going off the air. It would be breaking my heart that I had to wait a whole week, but I would take the fucking thing and I would watch it probably 2 or 3 more times before the next episode of Raw.
Easily,
Same
right?
thing with Sunday Night Heat, bro. Same thing.
Dude, I was the same way. Like I discovered it like when my parents got Foxtel around like 97, like 97, right? So I was like 14, 15. And like I'm like, oh, this is really cool. And then it was like I started going to the video store and getting videotapes, right? Because all I saw was WWE and WCW. And to be honest, at the time I probably didn't even know there was a difference, right?
Yeah.
But then I started getting like some old UWF tape and like old ECW tapes from like the early 90s, like Eastern Championship Wrestling and like the early Extreme Championship Wrestling. And I see Mick Foley on these, right? So I'm seeing Mick Foley there going, oh, this is him wrestling for WWE somewhere else, not realizing until it sort of all clicked and stuff like that. But I remember watching it and then like, just renting these tapes like out religiously until the point where it was like then I discovered pay-per-view and my parents discovered the bill of how much pay-per-view costs. It was like 2 pay-per-views a month, baby. You know what I mean? Like WCW and WWE.
Yeah, man. I remember because like I had, I lived in a household where, a single parent, my mum didn't make a lot of money, so I never bothered asking her to order the pay-per-view for me at that stage anyway. So I would sit there because remember when like on the pay-per-view channel it would be a scrambled screen but you still had the audio. I'd sit there and just watch the scrambled screen listening to JR commentate the show. That's that's all I could get until my friend had an illegal satellite installed at his house, and then we just all went over there and so
do you remember in a time like it was probably like the early 2000s where like pay-per-views weren't even being aired on like Foxtel for a while for WWE and movie cinemas were like viewing it.
Bro.
I remember going and
Amazing.
seeing it was a WrestleMania where like I think it was
WrestleMania 19, bro.
Was that the one where Vince was all geeked up and comes up from the screen? Like
yes, bro, against Hogan.
That's the one, bro. Yeah. I went to the movies to watch. I wrote my car off that night and still went and watched wrestling. On the way to watching the show, I fucking wrote my car off with my friends, and they're like, "Well, what do we do?" And I'm like, "Well, my car's fucked. Let's sleep in here. We'll come back later."
Man, that was a hell of an experience because, like, you've interviewed a whole bunch of people from EPW and all that. Like a whole bunch of those guys back then, like Davis Storm. I remember seeing them in the cinema. Seeing this, it was an amazing experience. It was almost like being at WrestleMania because everyone was cheering and going ape shit over all the great things that were happening, especially when Piper showed up and fucking hit Hogan with the pipe in the head. Man, that was a great experience.
Oh, dude. But like, as far as like, with what wrestling is now, do you think there's too much wrestling on television?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bro, it's just like Raw is 3 hours long.
Do you watch Raw every week?
Never.
Yeah, I mean, I may watch like Hulu, which is like the 90-minute version of it, right? But like, that's if I can get 90 minutes to sit down and watch that. You know what I mean?
I don't know who sits there and watches it every week. That and SmackDown and AEW and Impact or whatever. I don't know who has the time because when I was unemployed for like 6 months, I still didn't have the time to watch all of it. And I wouldn't watch it anyway because it's shit. It's uninspired, contrived shit these days. I will watch the pay-per-views to review them for our channel. That's fine, but man, it's too much right now.
Dude, like I was watching NXT like religiously every week, like doing the review show. And like honestly, like from what I saw there, like I got disappointed in a production standpoint from WWE, like just the way the angles and the way that they filmed that show. Like it really annoyed me to the point where it's like, come on, man, this is a multi-billion-dollar company and you can't have a fucking proper angle. Like, you know what I mean? Like I just saw production lacks there, but I think there's a lot of like performers now. Like I don't know if there's a lot more performers, but there's probably a lot more high caliber performers now, and it's probably hard to like 3 hours of TV, right? I'd want to know, like in 3 hours of Raw, how many matches are on that show, and how much of the rest of it is bullshit. Because
Fuck,
when I
man.
watch NXT, that'd be like 3 matches, and it'd be like fucking vignette, 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 couple of promos, vignette, vignette, vignette.
Fuck, man. I don't. It's things have changed so much. Like when I watch WWE Raw now, like if I do, I remember the last time I watched an episode was the 25th anniversary episode, and I was disgusted with how fucking terrible it was. It was bad, really, really bad. But the thing I found about WWE now is they plod along so slowly through those 3 hours. It's not snappy anymore. It's not for people with a short attention span anymore. They plod along like nobody's fucking business. And that
But you know
3 hours
what? Like,
feels like 6.
but you know what? You go back to like the Attitude Era, and I know it's like not right to compare like different generations, right? But just compare the shows, right? Not the performers, not anyone like that, because I think the performers now are absolutely amazing. Every single performer in WWE, AEW, anywhere that have been able to do this at professionally, you have to be a high caliber professional wrestler. But I think the way that booking is done, like you remember back in the Attitude Era, you were left with what the fuck moment at the end of every episode. And I feel like I don't get that now when I watch wrestling. I don't get that feeling of suspense like when I watch like WWE. I think the matches are fairly like the in-ring stuff is great. But the story and stuff like that, I just go, "Ugh." And look, that can contribute to many different reasons, right? Like that could be like the writer booker has a vision, but that vision isn't seen in the same light as what the performers that are delivering that vision. They have a different, you know what I mean? Like they'll have a different vision to it, which won't marry up, and that may be what's causing the issue. Maybe it's a simple communication problem in storyline. I don't know, but I feel like storylines, it's just ridiculous. Like there's no excitement to me.
They don't end shows on cliffhangers anymore. And if you miss an episode of Raw now, it doesn't matter. But if you missed an episode back then, you were so far behind on what was going on. You needed to watch every single week because things can change just like that. You were always on the edge of your seat because you didn't know what was going to happen next. And it wasn't just that, the hooks going into commercial breaks, things of that nature. They don't do stuff like that anymore. And I think a big problem that they have right now is that there's so much red tape that anyone in creative, their vision doesn't get seen through to the end. One guy, I read an interview with this writer who had been in the company for years, and he said it was so disheartening that you'd sit there for hours coming up with all these great ideas and you push them through, and then when it gets to the main guy in charge, he either forgets about them or he just doesn't want to do it just because, and rips up the script at 4 p.m. on the day. Like that's a sign right there, as far as I'm concerned, that man is completely out of touch. And I wouldn't expect any 70-plus-year-old man to still have the complete cutting edge as far as creative is concerned. At some point, you've run out of steam, as far as I'm concerned, and I don't think he should be overseeing anything anymore as it pertains to creative. But he's not the only one in a position like that shouldn't be in that position in pro wrestling today.
Well, it comes down to it. Like, dude, one of the things I noticed when I watched NXT, right, it felt like they were treating everyone like teenagers. Like it was almost like it was like Degrassi Junior High in 2022, or like 90210 in 2022. And it's like back then they presented them as like fucking superstars. And it's just like you can't present, like, even on an NXT level, these people as kids. They're fucking in their late 20s, early 30s. Like, come the fuck on. You know what I mean? But then again, they're not aiming, like, put this way, do you really think Cora Jade is aimed for our demographic, like 2 40-year-old
No,
dudes? No.
she's for little girls and teenage girls, you know.
Same with Bailey. When Bailey came in, bro,
Yeah.
she was there for the little girls and stuff like that. And, you know, and even look at, you know, some of the other characters like John Cena, bro. He was the same way. He wasn't meant for like dudes that are like 25 to fucking 50. You know what I mean? Like, he's there for the kids, bro. That's why, like, he always got that fucking mixed reaction of the crowd. But hardest working motherfucker there is in the history of the business, though.
Absolutely, man. Like I hated John Cena for so long, and it wasn't his fault. It was just like I was just sick of seeing the same thing happen over and over again, especially like during that time when like Nexus came along and he just ended up squashing all of them in the end. It was such a great idea that ended up getting destroyed by this one guy. It's like, man, it's like, how many times do I have to see the good guy, you know, save the day again and win again? I remember this meme going around, you know, with John Cena's face at the top said "spoiler alert." At the bottom it said "I win," because it's just like he won all the time, man. I wanted Bray Wyatt to fucking beat him at WrestleMania, bro. I just felt like for the longest time, Heat was forgotten about in wrestling, and the bad guy was barely ever on top. It was just always fucking John Cena, man. And then as years went on, I actually started to realize how fucking great this guy was, what a great performer he was, when I saw a lot of other performers being brought in that I was like, or being compared to him, that I thought, no, like that person can't fucking touch John Cena. And I may or may not be talking about somebody like Kenny Omega, but honestly, like Kenny Omega to me, and this might annoy people out there if I say this kind of thing, but there's like thousands of Kenny Omegas in pro wrestling right now. As far as I'm concerned, like anyone can wrestle like that if that's what they've been doing for all these years. There are so many guys that could do exactly what Kenny does, but Kenny can't do what John Cena does.
I agree. I agree with a lot of what you just said. I think John, like Cena, he's had probably one of the longest runs in wrestling history. I think if you look at like Hogan's run, Austin's run, like Austin's run was what, like 5 years, 3, 4, mate, less than 5 years. Rock's run, 7, maybe 8. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
give or take, like until he went to movies. Hogan, what was Hogan's run? Like, fuck, 7 years,
well,
6 years, 6, 7 years. But
if you're talking about WWF, I think was it? Did he win a belt in '84 and leave in '93?
No, yeah, like he won the belt. I think it was 85. Actually, no, it might have been 84. It might have been 84. But the thing is with John Cena is like, dude, like the stuff that he's done, pardon me, for kids. Like, I'm not sure if you've seen this video, bro. Like, right, I saw this video of this kid who basically was like reading this thing in front of John Cena, and they were secretly filming this. And it was like this kid, like he was sitting there watching this kid on a screen, and this kid's going, you know, I met you like a year or 2 years ago. You know, you gave me your wristband or your shirt, and, you know, you pat me on the head and said, never give up. And he said, my mum got diagnosed with cancer, and she was going through it. And I always said, remember what John Cena said, never give up, you know. And he was saying, yeah, my mum is now alive because of you. Like, you know, you helped me get through. And like John Cena sitting there, like tears coming out of it, like genuine fucking emotion from this dude, right? And this kid comes around the corner out of nowhere, and the kid was like, you know, going, thank you so much for you. And John Cena was like, stop. He goes, I just want to hug you. And then the mum comes out, and it's like, it was like almost like it was a secretly filmed thing, but it wasn't, if you know what I mean. But like to me, that just showed the fucking kind of human being that he is. And from what I've been told as well, like, you know, when they have like these children coming in, these Make-A-Wish children, like people coming in, they'll have a handler and they'll say like, okay, guys, that's enough. Like, you know, John's got to go get ready for his match. And like Hulk Hogan was the same. He would say, no, no, no. He would make sure every kid got an autograph, every kid got a photo, every kid that was there got an interaction before he left. And I think that goes to show of the type of human being those people are. Despite like the wrestling, politicking, and all the bullshit, to be a decent human being like that, man, like it doesn't take a lot, but you can very easily get out of doing shit like, oh yeah, the handler's right, I've got to go. But to go, no, fuck, I'm gonna stay. Like, come on, man. Like, that's some fucking pretty cool shit.
Definitely. I agree, man. Like, Jesus, those moments that those kids are having with John or Hulk, you know, they remember that for the rest of their life. You know, that's a special thing. And even if the rest of their life isn't a very long time, man, that's huge for them. And you know, so as much as I used to shit on John Cena, you know, at the end of the day,
same here, bro. I used to as well, bro. You know what I mean? Like, there's all the stories out there, right? But like when you see shit like that, to me, that's when, and like I've heard other people comment like and say that's how like this was and blah blah blah, like people that were in around that, and to me, that's like fuck, man, like. You know what I mean? Like you could easily just go, yeah, I got to peace out. But to go, nah, like to me, that says a lot about a human being. But I think he overall, like his run, like as an in-ring performer, like he's not going to be known as like, you know, like as like a Ricky the Dragon Steamboat type of performer. But like Hulk Hogan, he did his shit. He did it well. He was over as fuck and he made a lot of money.
Yeah, he didn't need to do anything fancy, but when he wrestled remember when he wrestled Kevin Owens, when Owens went up from NXT to the main roster, he showed he could fucking do anything that any of the other guys out there that were going on about how great, you know, the newest style of pro wrestling is. He went out there and he fucking showed that he could do exactly the same thing, that, you know, that kind of, maybe, I don't know if you want to call it a Ring of Honor or indie style. I don't know exactly what to pinpoint it as, but John showed that he can do that just as good as anyone else. But he never needed to do it like that in order to get over, because the guy, take one look at him, listen to him talk on the microphone for 30 seconds. He gets your attention every time.
Exactly. And just because he can do that shit doesn't mean he needs to do that shit. You know what I mean? It like if you can get over, you get a crowd reaction. Do you need to fucking go diving headfirst onto concrete?
Exactly, bro. It's like Goldberg.
You know what I mean?
I just watched that thing that they put out about Goldberg on Peacock, and I've seen so many comments that people made about him. Oh, Goldberg sucks. Goldberg can't wrestle. And it's like, it was a spear and a jackhammer, and he became a fucking mega star because of it. He didn't need to do anything else. He just needed to be that. And that's why he got over so fucking big. And for anyone to go out there and say, oh, you can't wrestle, like, shut the fuck up, man.
I mean,
it's not about the moves.
I don't know. Goldberg to me is a guy that I was never a fan of. And like, man, he almost killed the Undertaker. So like, fuck, we can't give him too much credit. Shit.
I'm talking about, WCW Goldberg. Not
Goldberg coming back and fucking burying like everybody. But that's the thing where it's like people go like and they look at that, right, and Goldberg's return, and I know a lot of like hardcore wrestling fans have said like how bullshit, like you know what I mean, like he comes back, he goes over Kevin Owens in 30 seconds.
I loved it, bro.
Yeah, but you know why he goes over in that quick, bro? Because he can't fucking go any longer than that. That's
Well,
the
I
truth.
think
Like, that's the truth, bro. And you know what? And then what does that do? That buries Kevin Owens, bro. So, like, okay, great. So in a month's time, when Goldberg has had his fucking time playing wrestler, who's going to be there that then? Kevin Owens. And then you've
yeah.
basically just said, well, he's not as good as this guy who hasn't wrestled in 10 years, who's come back, who's like fucking 20 years older than him. And
I get
squats
it, bro.
20. Like, you know what I mean, bro? Like,
Yeah, okay, yes, it definitely is bullshit. But I really liked Goldberg's match with Lesnar at WrestleMania, which went a little bit longer. And I thought his match with Lashley at Crown Jewel or whenever it was,
I didn't
I
mind
thought
that.
that was really good as well. But yeah, you know why I loved seeing him beat Kevin Owens in 30 seconds? Nothing against Owens. I just knew it was going to piss so many diehard, indie fan wrestler, AEW type fan wrestler, wrestling fan. It would annoy them so much. That's why I loved it, because I knew it was going to annoy them, which is terrible, but
Do you
whatever.
watch do you watch any AEW at all?
I reviewed, I think, 18 weeks worth of their Dynamite last year, and also maybe 4 or 5 episodes of Rampage for the channel. And I tapped out after I think it was Full Gear. I think the next episode of Dynamite after that, I was like, my blood was boiling so much from that episode. Seeing Sammy fucking Guevara, one of the most overrated fucking wrestlers in the wrestling business in its
Wow.
history, beating Miro clean. No, but I feel like I nearly had a nervous breakdown after those 18 weeks. Don't get me wrong, there were some episodes that I liked, and I thought All Out last year was a fantastic pay-per-view, but I couldn't take it any longer, and I only review the pay-per-views now for the channel. So it's fun to dissect 4 times a year, but not. I can't do it every week. No way.
Yeah, I know, dude. Like, I did a review with you guys. What was it? Fuck, what was it? Some
I think it was Revolution.
Revolut. Yeah, it was something like that. And like, you were
Yeah.
supposed to get me on for a few more, so I sucked, and you didn't have me back on. So I was like, oh fuck, all right. I was that bad.
No.
No, like, dude, like sitting down, because I remember you were like, hey, can you review this, and this? And I'm like, oh fuck. I'm like, yes. I was like, 'cause I was saying no to you. I was like, yeah, I'll fucking oath I'll do it. But I was like, oh shit, now I watch this shit.
No, that was because my co-host had his little
right.
situation there, but then he was okay again. But actually, I've been doing a lot of these reviews by myself now, because I found that I can get them done quicker without old mate Juicy Boy.
100%, bro. I'm down to do 'em, bro. But like, dude, like, you did a review on the XPW California Deathmatch tournament, bro. That was a 7-hour fucking show. How was that to sit down and like? I haven't watched it yet. I'm not gonna lie. How was that to sit down for nearly 8 hours and watching a fucking show that long?
The beauty of all of that is I started watching it. It was still in progress when I started watching it from the beginning, but it was so far in progress that I was able to skip through those massive gaps between the matches when they were setting up the next.
So they were just filming people setting up shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they didn't do like interviews or like backstage fucking thing, or like, let's throw to a fucking classic XPW fucking.
I assume, because I don't know, because actually I skipped all of those gaps until I saw something going on. I've seen a couple of I think, A Beautiful Disaster was the show that I reviewed of theirs last, which was the one with the women's tournament. But there was a good portion of time where they were setting things up, and I was like, why don't they throw to like some sort of package, or throw to what's happened on the recent edition of XPW TV? I know there's not really much wrestling on that show, but there's kind of storyline related things that Rob Black does. Why not throw to that? massive gaps where you're just looking at the ring. And like Chris Kloss is on commentary, he might be talking about something. There's no tight shot of him on commentary looking at the camera. You just overhear him, on the feed whilst it's just staring at this ring as the guys are sweeping the shit out and setting up the next death match. So, yeah.
Huge props to him, though, for fucking calling a 7-hour show, bro. Like, God,
Yeah.
dude, I called a show recently a couple months ago. Like, I did commentary for this show solo. And it was one of the most fucking nerve-wracking fucking things I've ever done. And that was like a 2.5 to 3 hour show. Dude, a 7-hour show, how he could have done that, bro. Like, fuck, take my hat off to that dude, bro. Like, seriously. That is some fucking shit.
He is so underrated as a commentator, Chris Kloss. I had the chance to have a little email back and forth with him after that show, and he said something along the lines of that he was told that he's now got like the world record for the longest commentary on a wrestling show. So
shit. That's some funny shit. Like yeah, and he seems like such a cool dude as well, man. Like I saw you had him on, and he's definitely like a guy I want to have a conversation with because he seems so fucking laid back.
Yeah, he's chill, man, and he knows everything about that company's history. Like I asked him everything I could possibly think of, and he had such great detail. One of my favorite guests for sure. Yeah, I'd strongly suggest you get in touch with him.
Yeah, no, definitely will, man. But like as far as it for you, bro, did you ever think about like getting involved in wrestling and like getting like trained to be a wrestler at any point?
Yeah, I guess in total I wrestled professionally, like as a weekend warrior here in Perth for 2 years. So I did wrestle.
How did I not know that?
I also was a backyard wrestler like for about 18 years as well, but I don't really talk about that often. But there was a stint in 2010 for the Southern Hemisphere Wrestling Alliance. And then I went back to backyard wrestling after that. And whilst I was backyard wrestling in 2014, I believe, I was also wrestling for a local pro wrestling company here called AAW, which is no longer in business.
So were you
because they had backyard wrestlers wrestle for them? So,
like, were you trained professionally, or were you just like, "Hey, I'm a backyard wrestler"?
No,
like...
I was trained by Jared Slate from SHWA, the Southern Hemisphere Wrestling Alliance, who was trained by Lance Storm. So Jared Slate was a great trainer and a very good guy, and he's still going today. Really proud of him. That company's still going. But yeah, he taught me a lot, and it was an experience.
what was it like? How come you like didn't pursue it, man? Because like you seem like wrestling is like a big part of your life. Like, I'm surprised you didn't pursue it.
I really wanted to. Trust me, I really wanted to. And I'm going to keep a long story short because every time I bring this up in anything, the person, even when I don't name their name, gets mad at me. And I'll get a little inbox saying, "Are you still not over it yet?" Well, Piers just asked me the question. The booking of the company, who was booking the company, and the content that was going on our shows, because I think we had one show a month. The booking went from Slate, who was just burned out. He was training, he was doing like all the things, and he needed to give up one thing. So he gave booking to someone who was kind of a part of the company behind the scenes on the business side of things, I suppose. And they didn't know what they were doing. They were terrible. I would call them out on their terrible ideas and why you can't have things not make sense. And it just got to a point where I was like, I don't agree with what you're doing, and I don't want to be a part of the content that you're putting out because I don't agree with it. You guys could be doing so much better, so much more. So it just was clear to me that I just couldn't be a part of that environment.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. Like, the creativeness of pro wrestling is so broad in a lot of ways, right? Like, it's so like it's so like different. What one person will like, other people won't like, and I feel like booking is one of those things where it's like you'll never get booking 100% right because you're always going to
No.
have like a certain part of the audience that's just either not going to get it or not really just be into it. And that's cool because like there'll be something else. And I've always said wrestling needs to be like a buffet. So you've got your like strong big man style, you've got your fucking high spot indie style, you've got your lucha, you've got your chain wrestling, you've got your death match, hardcore, what the fuck ever, right? And like you might have fans go, you know what, I'm a big death match fan, so I'm going to come and see this. But on that show, you're going to see some amazing chain wrestling. And go, holy shit, I didn't know that this person wrestles. Oh, this is pretty cool. And you're going to get that flow on effect. That's the way I think pro wrestling is. But as far as booking goes, man, it's one of those things, bro. It's so hard. But like bad booking, no matter what, is just bad fucking booking.
Exactly, bro. I get annoyed because I get annoyed, and I've talked about this before with people, and not everybody is a creative person. Not everybody has that in their brain that they are capable of writing angles and stories for, let's say, 20 people, and you have to ensure that all those 20 people have a story, have momentum moving forward with their character, and all the angles that are taking place that thread from one show to another. But not only that, angles that start on a show that thread through the show toward the end. Not everybody can do that. If I don't give a flying fuck if you get trained by a former WWE superstar and you are a fantastic wrestler and you know all the ins and outs and all the laws of every hold and every single thing you can do, that does not equate to you being qualified to write creatively for not just yourself, but for a whole plethora of other people who have different characters. And each of those characters have to react to certain situations different from one another, because everyone is different. And certain things that take place in a character's life changes their trajectory of where they head next. If something terrible happens to a beloved babyface, that might turn him heel, because when bad things happen to people and good people in real life, that can set their life askew. That's just one example that I can give on that. But again, I don't care if Tony Khan fantasy booked with his figurines as a teenager or whatever for years and years and years. That does not equate to this man being qualified to write a television show. And it goes from all the way up there to all the way to the most local indie fed, ones that I wrestled for. People being put in that position thinking just because they're a big wrestling fan and they watch wrestling that they are qualified to be in that creative position. That is what drives me the most crazy.
But you know what? It's funny. Like I see people like when they go online, and I think Twitter's like the ultimate for that shit, right? Where like people go, "Oh, I wouldn't book that shit. I'll play," And I always have that statement, which my common sentence still is, "Well, fucking tell me more, veteran." You know what I mean? Like I would say, please tell me more about your experience. Or it's like if I see people like, and I'll use Vince Russo as an example, right? Like Vince Russo gets a lot of fucking hate, right? A lot of fucking hate. And dude, I know Vince not really well, but relatively well,
He also
right?
gets a bit of love, bro. He also gets a bit of love.
He does. He does get a bit of love. But yeah, I know him not very like close friends or any shit like that, but like I've known him for a while. I've worked for him for a while. And the sort of person he is, bro, like, dude, he's one of the coolest fucking human beings I've ever met. And like, I'll tell you right here live on fucking air, dude. Like, you know what I mean? I put a tweet out when I wasn't fucking feeling 100%, bro, like mentally. and was feeling pretty fucking down. And, like, I shouldn't have done it. I should have reached out to a friend like you or someone else and said, hey, I need to fucking chat. But I did it, right? And like in 5 minutes, I'm getting messages from Vince going, yo, what the fuck is going on, brother? Like, what's happening? Like, explain yourself. Like, what's happening? And bro, for 3 hours, bro, we're messaging each other back and forth, right? I'm telling him. And then he calls me and we have a 2-hour fucking conversation. Right. So this is a guy who is a fucking cool ass human being, but gets ridiculed because he wrote a TV show 20 fucking years ago, and a couple of people in the industry don't like him and say things, and that means every fan. Like, I've said to him, like, God, it must be fucking, like, I've told him many times, I said, it must be so exhausting every time you go online. Like, you see at least 1 to fucking 5 fucktards that are just coming at you. And he's like, bro, he goes, I don't give a fuck anymore. He goes, it hurts more when he goes, it's more hurtful when it's someone that you know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Someone you've known for a long time, when they do it, you're like, really? Now you're fucking doing this shit? Like, he's a very cool dude. And I think he gets a lot of hate for some fucking bullshit reasons.
It's, you know what I think it is? It's because of the WWE narrative has been pushed out there so much, and it's such a grand scale. So it gets pushed out there so much, when really, when I look back, and I can admit because I'm a fan of his, I can admit that some ideas I didn't like, but I don't think that there were as many bad ideas from him during his time period writing wrestling than came after him when he left WWE. All the dropped opportunities that company had with the invasion angle, with the NWO, with the return of ECW. Those 3 things were the 3 strikes and I'm done with you, with me, as far as my fandom's concerned. How do you fuck up the invasion? But I think in comparison, fucking Hornswoggle ran through a fucking painted hole in the wall and Carlito chased him and he collided with the wall and fell over. And I'm like,
PG era, bro. PG era.
I'm like, you people still fucking bring up all this other shit, but that you forget about things like that. And then Vince even gets blamed for stuff that he didn't write, like Mark Henry and Mae Young, with the Mae Young giving birth to a hand. Like he was gone by then, you know.
bro, you know what? It's funny, right? Like, because on Wrestling with Tragedy, me and Angel and like, we wanted to do an episode with Vince, like, because Vince was going, when are you guys going to have me on? Like, I want to be on. And I'm like, all right. And I said, I got a topic for, and I had to present this to Vince at a fucking Russo's brand meeting, right? So like, it's like 4 o'clock in the morning, my time. And Vince is like, yeah, bro. So what topic do you want to cover, bro? And I'm like, and I got approval from Angel to say this. I'm like, let's have you on, but let's do 20 years of heat. And he goes, 20 years of heat, bro, with who? I go, bro, like, you have had so much bullshit thrown at you, like all this shit. Let's have you on and let's address every fucking single fucking thing that anyone has ever said, and you can fucking rebuttal the fuck out of it, and it's once and done, and it's fucking for all. And he goes, bro, I am in. And like, even before, he was like, I didn't give a, I said, okay, we'll give you a run. He goes, I don't want to know, whatever it is you throw, whatever it is at me. And bro, he fucking, and everything, bro, everything we could find where like someone has like criticized booking or something like that, he was able to give his side of it. You know what I mean? Like, and the major thing was, like, in WWE, he said, all I was paid to do was give ideas. I wasn't a writer, bro. He goes, I would give ideas to Vince, and then Vince would decide to do them or not. He goes, I got a lot of heat for Brawl for All because I gave that idea to Vince. He goes, I didn't fucking make the decision. I said, hey, what about we get the boys to do this?
I love the Brawl for All, man. I thought I was on the edge of my seat for stuff like that.
I didn't know I thought it was a fucking work, bro. I thought it was a work. As a kid, I was watching, going, this ain't really different. But you know what I mean? Like, having a boxing background when I'm seeing motherfuckers getting KO'd and shit, and I'm going, oh shit.
Yeah, like
maybe that's a like I was going. That's a real punch, man. That like I seen motherfuckers get knocked out, and that was like you're knocked off. You're a great actor, or you're knocked the fuck out.
yeah, and if it wasn't real, there's no way Bart Gunn was going to be booked to win the thing. So that's when you
I
knew it
know.
was real.
But like even like I asked him, I said, was it Steve Williams supposed to be the guy to win it? And he's like, no. Like he goes, like I think Angel found out like it was like the only reason Russo made this fucking tournament was to see Bradshaw get knocked out. Or some shit like that.
Yeah.
And Vince was like, I'm pretty sure he said no, that was not the case. But I think that was pretty fucking funny if it was. Like,
well, I think I've heard him say in interviews that Bradshaw was talking about if this were real, he'd be the champ. And like that kind of helped inspire Mr. Russo to push that idea forward. And man,
imagine that though. Like you're a WWF performer, and you'd say like if this was real, like you know what I mean. Like you're basically exposing the business, whether you're saying that on WWF television or you're saying it on. That's such a you know what I mean. Like that should be a fireable offense.
I would have loved to have seen him fight Ron Simmons, bro. That would have.
Damn.
No, that would have been a fight to see.
But dude, like, what's your take on like AEW, man? Because like, I don't watch a lot of like, I watch no AEW, like very rarely,
bro.
Like you know, I mean, you said some interesting stuff about Tony Khan, and I agree. The booking isn't to my taste. It's not to what I like, but they always get sold out shows, bro. They have a very passionate, hardcore following. And I think that what they're doing and what they're giving their audience are eating up. So if the boys and girls and the people are making money working for them, all the best. I just think there's a lot of people there just collecting a paycheck. And I think that there isn't many people with, you know, the company's best interest at heart, just to be honest. Like I've heard things of like they've got veterans back there like Jake the Snake Roberts, Tully Blanchard, Arn Anderson, like Ric Flair, JR, Taz, fucking the list goes on and on. And like I heard like Jake Roberts went up to a talent and said, hey, I liked what you did in your match, but what I suggest that you could do, like just a bit of feedback. And the wrestler said, I'm going to cut you off there. I don't give a fuck what you say. I've already got a contract. And walked off. And I heard that shit. I'm like, no fucking way. And then I've heard as well, like that like no one goes up, like none of the guys at AEW go up to like Arn Anderson or Tully Blanchard or
yeah, of course,
and get advice or bro, that advice that they would get would be worth more than fucking 5 hours in a training session, bro, or going to it like any, you know what I mean, like. It's invaluable shit, bro.
Well, half the roster's fucking injured right now. So maybe that's a sign. There's heaps of problems with AEW, bro. There's heaps of problems.
But also, bro, like I was a huge fan of Arn Anderson's work, right?
Mm-hmm.
Even in WWE, like when he was a producer there, why weren't we seeing his fucking, you know what I mean, stuff in there? You know what I mean? Like, and I heard like someone asked him that, and he goes, "No one fucking gives a shit."
Yeah.
And it's like,
anytime any of those guys give advice, none of these guys today, they just want to do what they want to do, and like they don't care if it's if it hurts the product. They don't care. They just want to do what they want to do. And
Juan Jeremy in the house. What's up, brother?
What up, Juan? Thanks for
It's
joining us.
Everyone needs a corner man, brother. Dude, like I feel like it's one of those things, bro, where the generations have changed in wrestling, and I've heard all these stories, and bro, I've heard them from people that are in the know, that have actually been backstage and seen this shit on a first-hand basis that I trust. So I'm pretty confident, like I'm not being bullshitted here too. But like in all honesty, bro, like I look at it and just go, man, what, like, you have that opportunity to go and hack the brain of these legends and you'd say like, fuck that shit. man, how seriously are you taking your career, bro?
Yeah, man. Because as soon as somebody says something that's critical, it's they're a hater, they're bitter, like and that they've just got a podcast and they've given their thoughts on an AEW show or something, and then one of those AEW wrestlers will tweet out that they're dissatisfied with the fact that they were critical of a certain angle or a certain match or something like that. Instead of just taking it on board a little bit and saying it as constructive criticism instead of immediately, hang on, whoa, hold on a minute. You can't be critical of anything that Tony Khan puts on his television show. How could you? Dave Meltzer said that this is great.
Look, I think that when you for fans to comment on a wrestler's performance is one thing, right? Because it's like, if you're not trained to do that shit, who the fuck are you to tell someone how to do it, right? Or it's to say that someone is shit or a fucking jobber or a piece of shit at it. Or
I hate that.
You know what I mean?
I hate that more than anything.
And that's where I say, tell me fucking more, veteran. Tell me fucking more, right? Because tell me about your experience. Good job. You know what I mean? And that's the thing where a lot of I think fans think that they have the right to give that opinion. And that to me is dude, I'm not an in-ring performer, bro. I'm, in the business, but I'm not a wrestler, bro. I'm not in, right? And I know I'm not one of the boys or one of the wrestlers. I know that. So when I turn up to shows, I don't turn up there with a fucking ego. I turn up there, hey, how you doing? I'm here to do the ring announcing commentary, whatever the fuck. Hey, blah, blah, blah. If they're friends of mine, yeah, we'll bullshit for a bit, but it's not like me going, hey, that drop kick looked a bit fucking sloppy, man. Hey, make sure you fucking get it a bit higher, eh? No, bro, because who the fuck am I? I've never done a fucking drop kick. How the fuck can I critique someone, bro? You know what I mean?
I get
and
you,
I've seen fucking fans do that, and I'm just I cringe so fucking hard at it.
Yeah, the only time I'm ever really critical, because I don't go, I don't get annoyed too much about wrestling matches, but I will be critical if I can see that they are totally cooperating with one another, and it looks rehearsed. It doesn't look like it's a real fight. It doesn't have to look like UFC either, but I can't remember what it was. Maybe it was an NXT match. I just felt like this looked really rehearsed, and I said something like, I dared these guys or these guys on this AEW pay-per-view, I dare them to go out there for 15 minutes and improvise a whole match and just call it in the ring but have your finish planned. I don't know if a lot of people can do that these days.
I don't know, man. Like I said, I've never been an in-ring performer, so I can't really comment on what people can or can't do in this day and age of wrestling. I feel like wrestling today is very much more pre-planned out. It seems that way. I watched an episode, and it may have been the same episode that we're talking about here of NXT, where I think it was a triple threat match, and it was literally one guy comes in, does 3 or 4 fucking spots, powders to the outside. The next guy comes in. Okay, his turn, does 3 or so spots. He powders out. The other guy gets back in. Then the third guy does his 3 spots, powders back in. Then next thing you know, they do a big fucking spot, bang everybody down. It was just so fucking one thing after another. It didn't and this isn't a critique on the work, because I think what they did was amazing. I think the moves that they did were amazing. To me, it looked like a display of moves, or a display of an offset of moves, than rather of a flowing match. Because in a real fight, you're not going to be able to go bang, 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 and do these moves and nail them at perfection. And I think that to me is where I look at it and go, oh, it didn't I don't know, it didn't resonate to me. You know what I'm saying?
I'm sick of triple threat matches. I hate multi-man ladder matches. I hate them now. I hate them. I can't stand them anymore because they've been done to death. And now it's getting to a point where it just looks rehearsed. Nothing about it makes me feel the way it felt back in the day because you see them all the fucking time now. I've had enough of the pre-planned spots. I've had enough of all that stuff. I'm sick of multi-man matches. I even at the point where I'm starting to hate tag team wrestling. When I know the tag match, I'm like, oh damn, because I know what it's going to be. Because if I'm watching like an AEW pay-per-view, I know what's going to happen in this tag team match. I know it's going to go 20 plus minutes. I know it's going to take a shotgun for somebody to take a 3 count. I don't like Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus. I didn't like that tag team. I didn't like the way that the Lucha Brothers tag team. I didn't like their style. I didn't like the Young Bucks, and they were like dominating the scene at the time. And I could go on forever, but like,
what's your take on FTR, bro? Because a lot of fans
love
are
them.
like, really
love them.
Really?
That match between them and the Briscoes at Supercard of Honor was one of the best tag team matches I'd ever seen. Definitely.
Well, yeah.
Because every big spot when it took place, if there was something like a dive or something like that, it wasn't like the Young Bucks at Triple Mania where they were just standing there waiting for the guy to dive on him. No, it was by happenstance. The guy, as he turns around, Jay Briscoe hits him with his dive. It looked, the situations that led to big spots seemed realistic because they made it look like happenstance, not just standing there waiting to catch him. But what a fucking tremendous story. It looked like a real fight. Tag team match of the year. No doubt about it.
Yeah, dude, I agree, man. I think the only thing I don't like about FTR or the thing that made me cringe was when they did the fucking singles match against each other and they did the fucking like they pretty much cosplayed Owen versus Brett. And that to me fucking was just like, ugh, are you fucking kidding me, bro? Like that to me was just like, bro, if I wanted to go and watch Owen versus Brett, bro, I'll go and watch that match. I don't want to see two current dudes fucking cosplaying that shit. It might have been a homage or whatever the fuck you want to call it, but to me it was just like, you fucking marks, like you know what I mean? Like, no. And then like Punk and fucking Hangman do the same shit.
Bro.
Like a few weeks later, I'm just like, and that's probably why I don't like AEW, bro, because anytime I try and give that show a chance, anytime I sit down to watch AEW, I always get that, like, I see something that's just so insulting to my intelligence, and I just go, fuck that. And I literally go, fuck that. And I slam the remote control down, going, I can't believe I just wasted 5 minutes of my life watching that shit. And I'm going to tell...
Sorry.
No. The explosion match where they had fucking Eddie Kingston over fucking John Moxley like that, and then fucking sparklers are going off. Bro, I spoke with Homicide, right? Who was backstage at that show. And I said, bro, like, what the fuck was that? Because like he was on Killing the Business with us, with Angel Show at the time. And he goes, bro, he goes, hey, Papi, Eddie was fucking fuming, he fucking throwing chairs and shit, Papi. Oh, Spanish Angel, man, he fucking going crazy. He goes, you motherfucker. He was saying, like, he was motherfucking everyone backstage, bro. And like, because it made him look like a fucking dickhead, bro. It made Mox look like a fucking dickhead, bro. And then a couple months later, fucking Jericho gets thrown off a cage by MJF and lands on a clear fucking crash pad with fucking metal grates that were fucking cardboard. Yeah. Like, are you kidding me, bro? You took a fucking spectacular bump from a great height and you fucking shat on it with the fucking landing, bro. Are you serious? Come on. Like, bro, in a matter of months, this happened, and it shows they didn't learn and that they've just embarrassed 3 of their biggest stars in a matter of under 12 months. on a fucking big stage. Get the fuck out of here. Sorry, guys.
No, bro. There's nothing else really much to add to that. It's just like they would fuck up huge on a massive scale and never admit, okay, we fucked up. Tony, the way Tony talks in interviews, the way that he acts at the fucking media scrums is, to me, that is like, surely this is an actor, a paid actor that is seriously playing a role right now. There's no way that this is real. And some people are like, oh, well, I think it's charming that he's like that. It's like he's real. And it's like, no, it's embarrassing. Cuddling Cesaro like that with your eyes closed, man. That's fucking stupid, man.
Oh, yeah, and I said this as well, bro. You're their boss, Tony, not their fucking homie, not their fucking close friend. You're their fucking boss, bro. But I will say this, man. I've had some conversations with a few people, and I reckon Tony Khan has some fucking mental health issues. I don't know if he's autistic. I won't say that. I think definitely bipolar. Maybe a personality disorder like thrown in there.
I think he's got this is what I think. This is just a guess, but I think he's got ADHD, and I think sometimes he has he dips into his medication maybe a little bit too deep, because the manner that he talks, the cadence of his speech sometimes. The eyes is definitely a big giveaway as well. I think he's a little bit high some of the time on, I think they call it Adderall. And I see that word get thrown around on fucking Twitter a lot when people are, talking about him. But I honestly think that that's a big problem, is that I think he's dipping into his medication too much.
Is Tony Khan her baby resurrected?
You see, I don't think it's cocaine. I really don't think it's cocaine, but I think it's.
Hey man, Tony Khan's coke bag is all elite, baby. Woo! Guess the drug. I don't know, bro. Man. I don't know. From seeing it, I think Tony just wants to be boys with people. You know what I mean? And be friends with people. And it's been said, he's booking shit like it's his own fucking using pretending they're his action figures, right?
Yeah.
It's just bro, just yeah, I don't know. Well, I think we could get into Tony Khan for fucking hours, bro.
I could talk about that man for 6 hours. I reckon there is so much to talk about there. But...
Dude, do you ever follow fucking any of the fucking the fucking dirt sheet writers like Sean Ross Sapp and fucking Meltzer and any of these guys?
I can't stand any of them, man. I can't.
Yeah,
sometimes I might look at Meltzer's Twitter just to see if there's something to pick on him about or laugh about, because some of the stuff he says is ridiculous. But I don't like. I like Raj from WrestlingInc.com. I like him.
Yeah, Raj is actually he's actually referenced a couple of my podcasts before. I think he's actually referenced you a couple of times as well.
Yeah, a few websites have done that. Even ones where I didn't even I haven't even had any contact with them. I don't even know how they came across the show, and if they watched the whole show and they just dug out this one little clip. That blows my mind sometimes. But yeah, he's let's just say I've sent him emails sometimes with the inside scoop on something, and he's posted on his website, so that's nice.
That's awesome, bro. But it's like the Sean Ross Sapp and stuff like that, bro. That cunt is so fucking toxic. I see him some of the shit that he posts. I'm just like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? This guy can't be. I love the shit he and Billy get into and shit like Billy Barty and stuff get into it. I just look at it and go, it's fuck. They're arguing over who's got more money for the canteen school lunch.
Yeah, I really would. Yeah, I stay away from all of that, because I just feel like it's just too much Too much unnecessary drama. I don't want to have to be constantly concerned about, you know, how many hateful tweets have been sent my way because I'm being dramatic all the time, like some of these guys are. Yeah, as far as I'm
Oh, dude,
concerned,
I'm the same way.
Dirt sheet
I'm the same
stuff
way.
is just fucking
I,
weird, man.
dude, I only do it every once in a while just to get a laugh. Like if I'm in a Facebook group and I see something fucking shared, I'll just read it and then I'll go to the fucking post on Twitter just so I can read the comments.
I watched that castrating the marks that Russo does with his host Jeff Lane. I like that because I like seeing I like seeing what this ridiculous statement or what this ridiculous piece of audio is saying, and I like hearing the response. Not every time does he just like completely take the piss out of them, but you know they will dissect what they said and talk about how and why that what was said is ridiculous. Meltzer says some really fucking stupid things sometimes, and he's never wrong apparently.
Yeah, I know. It's great. But like you know who I love who fucking destroys them? Mark Madden. I said, have you seen the shit that he was posting on Twitter? He fucking destroyed all of these fucks in like 2 tweets, bro. And I'm just like, this guy's fucking great. He's like,
some people don't realize that guy's got very quick wit, and he's a very smart man. So like, you don't challenge someone who, like, if he wanted to go do stand-up comedy tomorrow, he could do a whole set. I bet you. Like he's like that, you know. Very quick-witted man.
I'd agree, but it is that time. For 60 seconds with Piers. That's right.
Lovely.
For everyone who's tuning in, if this is your first time, how this works is I'm going to fire a bunch of questions at Karlifornia. He's got 60 seconds to answer as many as he can. Bro,
I'm bad at this stuff. I'm bad.
Bro, there's no right or wrong.
Too much pressure, man.
It's just your answers, bro. All right. So you ready to start the clock, bro?
Yeah.
All right. First one. Which Chris is hotter, Hemsworth, Evans, or Pratt?
Hemsworth.
Which wrestler would you love to go out drinking with?
Oh, man. Kevin Nash.
If you could ask Vince McMahon one question, what would it be?
Fuck, dude, that's a good one. Why the fuck are you still writing or ahead of creative? It sucks, dude.
What is the worst gift you ever received?
A notepad from my girlfriend in year 7. I got her this nice teddy bear, and she got me a notepad.
Bitch. What is the worst gift you have given someone?
Oh, man. I don't think I've ever given a bad gift. Honestly. I'm very thoughtful.
You are. What is one thing that you have tried that you will never try again? Keep it clean.
I don't think I could say it on the show.
We'll move on. Would you rather be 4'5" or 7'7"?
Oh shit, 7'7", just to see what it's like. I wouldn't want to be that short because no one's gonna bully you if you're 7'7".
Exactly right. What did you get in trouble the most as a child?
Just being badly behaved at school.
Plain fairy bread or fairy bread with Nutella?
Plain fairy bread. It's already sickening enough.
I know. Last one. In 5 minutes' time, you are being shipped to outer space. What 2 personal belongings do you take with you, excluding human beings?
Probably my iPod, so I have a plethora of music to listen to. And fuck, man, that's really difficult. You're making me really think here. Yeah, an iPod and I don't know. I'm trying to look around my room now. My Nintendo Switch. There you go.
I thought you were going to go and a porno. But that has been 60 seconds with Piers Karlifornia. You've killed it again, brother. This has been one of like the most fun, just chilled conversations we've had on this podcast. We're definitely going to have to do this again. I feel like we're going to have to do this again very soon. Which hopefully I'm going to be able to tee that up if I can, afford your fee. I had to save up 12 months to get it, but, we finally got it there. But, bro, where can they find and support you and everyone at the WZWA network?
Well, WZWA network, that is all you really need to know. Pretty much every single possible platform there is. If you type in WZWA network in one word, you'll find us on YouTube, you find us on Twitter, you'll find us on Instagram, you'll find us on Twitch. You'll even find us on Tumblr and Pinterest and DeviantArt. Everything. We're on everything. But the main thing is check out our YouTube channel, youtube.com/WCWA network, where you can find the Insider's Edge podcast, all of our video game content, video game playthroughs. We play many season modes on many different consoles of many different games. We do reaction videos. We do reviews of wrestling shows. We do skits. We do everything we possibly can because we want our channel to be a wrestling fan lifestyle channel. Every little bit of being a wrestling fan, you can find that on our YouTube.
There you go, guys. Make sure you go and check out WZWA Network. Did I do it right? Did I do it smooth enough for you guys?
Very nice, bro. I like it.
Thanks, bro. But go and check him out, guys. They do amazing content, amazing interviews as well. Go and check out my boy Karlifornia on Twitter. Send him a follow. And guys, make sure you check out our sponsors, healthvape.com and sleeps.com. Use that promo code MWAPOD to get a 10% discount on your final purchase. Also, guys, make sure you please give us a follow at youtube.com/Piers Austin and Piers Austin on all your podcast platforms, Twitch at the Piers Austin. Please give us a 5-star review on those podcast platforms. Subscribe, like, share, all that good shit. But until next time, guys, thank you to Karlifornia for being on. We'll see you again very, very soon. Take care. All the best. Peace.